I haven't looked at my watch, so that's a good sign. No, when Stacy asked me to do this and told me that Dean Scott was being honored today, I was really excited about that because I was here in the last couple years of his tenure, and you know, he was just a giant at this place, and just somebody who really commanded the respect of everyone. And so I'm so glad that he was honored today. And you know, Megan McCann, when I came to visit Wittenberg, hosted me, and she's one of the major reasons I came here, because you know, we had such a good conversation and a good experience. So thank you. It is going to be hard to follow up Dean Scott, but I just really am so glad to be here to speak. I was looking at the list of previous winners, and I saw a lot of my friends on the faculty, Tim Lewis, who I actually just saw, you know, Dr. Ritter, and then some real giants in the political science department, Hudson, Buscemi, Flickinger, and I think it's only appropriate that Rob Baker is going to be joining those people today. So, you know, one of the things he's really famous for is the local government internship program. And I think we were the second or third iteration of that, second, back in Fernandina Beach in 1997. And the interesting thing about, you know, joining the giants of the political science department is just last night you were telling me that you're going to be one of the older professors on staff. Not because he's old, but because there's young people coming up and people like Dr. Hudson retiring. And then the other thing you told me that really floored me was when we were in Florida, he was only a year or two older than I am now, so time flies, enjoy it while you can. But you know, the experience we had in Fernandina Beach was really amazing. I think there were 15 of us that went down there. Stacy was one of the people, and you know, worked for the city, and just really had an incredible experience doing projects, you know, working with the city government there. And you know, it was an interesting time. Small towns sometimes have interesting politics, and the city manager that was our host was, you know, embroiled in a controversy while we were there, and you know, those jobs kind of have a shelf life, and his was up. And during the time we were there, and so it was actually tremendously educational. So you know, we really enjoyed it and took classes. And you know, really learned about local government, and you know, that's when I learned that local government is where it's at, because that's always been Dr. Baker's catchphrase. So I asked, and it was funny with all those the interesting experience that we had that summer. I was like, boy, you know, this local government thing is kind of a hot potato, you know, maybe. But it was a lot of fun, and I actually asked one of our classmates that was down there, Ryan Gogg, for some thoughts. For me to share today, and what he wrote was so good that I almost didn't have a speech. I was just going to read what he wrote, but I selected a few things that he said, and one of the ones that I thought was really interesting was just he noted that, you know, creating a program like the local government internship program and sticking with it all this time, you know, really says a lot about Rob's belief in real world learning. And that really struck me because honestly, I had really taken that for granted because he's so passionate about that program, and I hadn't really ever had that perspective until Ryan put it together for me. And you know, the time and energy that you've put into it all these years has really been amazing. He also said that your classes here on campus really catalyzed his switch from a bio major to a political science major. Because somehow you saw some potential in him that maybe he didn't even see in himself at that time. So, you know, he said that he really appreciated the thoughtful letter that you wrote for him on his graduation, and then 10 years later after that for graduate school, and he's always been grateful for your support. So I wanted to share that because Ryan's a good friend. And then, you know, Dr. Baker was my advisor, and so he gave me a great piece of advice on that theme. It wasn't exactly a piece of advice, but we were talking once about what I was going to do after Wittenberg and where I was going to go. And I had been thinking about grad school for political science, and we had a really good conversation where it was interesting in a couple ways, where he really said, you know, I can't honestly recommend against the academic or teaching life to anybody. I love it. It's my favorite thing. I love being with the students. I'm so passionate about it. But you know, that's becoming a tough job market, you know, it's really hard to get ahead in the academic world, and that was pretty thoughtful advice. And then, you know, I think that there is some truth in that, is that, you know, maybe he knew that that wasn't the best path for me. And so I've always really appreciated that just a little bit of guidance that, you know, directed me in where I went with my life, which was to law school in a JD MPA program, so where I did public affairs. And I'll tell you, that first year of the public affairs program was really easy after all the coursework I took from you. I couldn't believe all the other people in that class. They didn't know what was going on. I knew all about it. So that was really great. After my first year of law school, that was kind of nice. I was really thankful for that. And you know, now I actually have you know, taken those lessons in local government and moved them on. I've recently been elected to city council in the community where I live. Thank you. And you know, Stacy probably thinks she started my political career when she asked me to be vice president of student senate when she ran for president her senior year. But I really credit Rob with teaching me everything I know about local government. And so to that end, I really want to again, emphasize that local government's where it's at, and give you this Brent Bolin for city council that you can treasure always.
Well, I want to squelch some rumors that the tweet you heard on Twitter this morning about my announcement to join the GOP nomination for president is not true. So you can forget about that. I do promise to be brief. I know we're trying to get to the alma mater. I know we all want to sing that. We older people have been sitting here for a long time without a bathroom break, so I really do need to kind of move along here. But Brent, when I saw that you were going to present me today, I was a little nervous because Brent's kind of a prankster, and you never know what's going to happen. Great teacher, but thank you very much. When I've been here 25 years, and this award means a great deal to me. I think of faculty members, my colleagues who have won this, and two of them in the room, Trudy and Corwin for sure, and colleagues in my department, Bill and Dick and Jerry and Linda Bennett, who used to be here. And when you're young and you look at these senior faculty members winning the Distinguished Teaching Award, you know, you're admiring them, and you're thinking a little bit, if you're honest with yourself, maybe someday. But as you're here long enough and you never hear your name announced, and younger people begin to appropriately get recognized, you begin to think, probably not. So I truly was shocked when my name was announced, and Stacy was there to present it. That was a very special time in April when the award was announced. So thank you, Stacy, for making the switch, I guess, to do that. I appreciate that greatly. I love the liberal arts. When I was in high school, my parents were high school teachers and junior high teachers, and they were a little bit dubious of my decision my senior year to take 5 out of 7 music classes. They weren't sure that was going to be good for me. But I've always been interested in everything, and I just love the life of the liberal arts and learning and having all kinds of interests. And so it's probably natural that I ended up at Wittenberg. I went to a liberal arts college, and when I was getting my PhD at University of Missouri and applying around the country for jobs, Wittenberg was on the list, and I'd never heard of the place, so I got out the map, and I was born in Springfield, Missouri, so I thought, well, Springfield, at least it's Springfield. But I came here in the winter of '87 to interview, and Bill Buscemi was the chair at the time, and I loved the place, and I thought it would be a very good fit for me. I told the students at the time it was almost like I was back on my home campus. It was a very similar tree-lined campus and beautiful campus. But when I was finished with my presentation, I was relieved, and I went back into Buscemi's office. The students were with the other professors, you know, assessing my presentation skills. And Bill sat down and said, "Well, what do you want to do now?" I said, "Can we go get a beer?" And I think that's what got me the job at Wittenberg. So I appreciated that. But the students have been wonderful. They're great students, bright, energetic, enthusiastic. The program that we run in the summer has been a wonderful experience, and I'm glad students have understood that local government is really kind of, my opinion, really where it's at. So I appreciate that, Brent. Sometimes in my public administration seminar, we'll talk about some organization theory, and we'll get into Abraham Maslow and his hierarchy of needs and self-actualization. I sort of joke around with the students and say, I've really self-actualized. I'm really kind of doing what my dream has always been, and I can't believe I get paid for what I do. And I say, I know you can't believe I get paid for what I do either. But it's a wonderful life, and I hope you find your vocation, and it's an opportunity to talk with them about that. But speaking of my PA class, and this is the last point I would like to make, students come up with interesting questions all the time. And I had probably the most interesting question last week. Taylor Pompey, who's our student body president, is in the class, and they were taking the midterm exam, and she came into the office and handed in the exam. She said, "Can I ask you a really strange question?" I said, concerned and with trepidation, but I said, "Sure, what's on your mind?" And she said, "Are you sure it's okay?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "Well, my friend is your neighbor, and she thinks you're a shifter." "Are you?" I said, "No, I'm not. But I know some of you in here are, and I don't know. I have no idea what it's all about. But that was the weirdest question I've ever received on campus. I said I always see them at football games marching across the field. I always kind of wonder what they're doing. But no, I guarantee you, Taylor, I'm not a shifter. So anyway, thank you very much for this honor. It's deeply appreciated. I'm greatly humbled by it. And I love teaching. I love Whitburn. Thank you, Stacy and Brent, for being part of this.